No, we did not talk about matching. Hello everybody, I'm Anna.
And I'm Michelle.
And we're the two mythical unicorns, and today we're doing the dilemmas of a book nerd tag.
Yes.
So we'll just get right into it.
Yeah, let's go.
Dilemma number 1. Book storage. How do you store and organize your books?
Well, how do I store and organize? Well, I have some childhood books and things like that with my mother.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, they've stayed there for a good while, and they're gonna stay there for a good while more.
Yeah.
I have 3 bookcases technically on my wall because that's what the apartment had that I moved into, and I have them in categories.
We have my classics, my poetry, general fiction, young adult, non-fiction, my shelf of fantasy and some sci-fi, my favorites, and currently reading and planning to read next.
Yeah, I have some books at my parents' house as well. They're gonna stay there until I become a proper adult with like a house of my own,
Essentially.
and not a tiny apartment.
Yeah.
And I organize my books. Well, I have books like everywhere. So I have a bookshelf in my bedroom that is the good looking.
Yeah, it's
bookshelf.
pretty books.
Yeah. So I have pretty books and they stand nicely, and I have some candles and other things there.
Yeah, they're like decorations almost.
Yeah, exactly. And then I have a bookshelf over there, and that is mostly like from university, that kind of books. And then I have pocket books, so the tiny ones over there as well. And then I have this bookshelf.
Yes.
And the organization in this bookshelf is by feeling.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have a sci-fi square, and then I have fantasy with angels square.
Yeah, I love that.
And then we have a Jim Butcher square.
Yes.
And we have sort of like historical. There is some time traveling and stuff as well,
Right.
but like sort of historical. And then we have an anime or manga square and dystopian square.
Yeah, I love that that's a thing.
So the squares are by different categories. It makes sense in my head.
Yes, as
Right?
long as you can find your stuff.
Yeah. Dilemma number 2. Tracking. How do you keep track of what you have read and what books you own?
I don't keep track of what I've read. Like, no, because I have Goodreads. I do have a Goodreads, but I don't tend to be active on that. I don't tend to be like writing reviews and things. So I don't actually track what I read or how much I've read. I'm terrible at that because it makes it feel like work to me. So I just read.
And what books you own?
Well, the books that I own are on my bookshelves.
Yeah.
Like outside of the ones that are at my mother's apartment. I don't like to keep books that I wouldn't read again.
Yeah.
So I have a very sized down book collection. Actually, I make sure that I only have the books that I actually want to have and read again. So
I keep track by writing the title and the author in a Google Docs.
fair.
And then and this is like the 3rd year, so I have like 2018 and then just a list of books that I read.
Yeah.
Then I have a Google Docs for 2019 and the books that I read. That is what I do to keep track. Otherwise it feels like too much work.
Yeah.
Like, that is not a part of reading I enjoy. That way I know what I read when I read it.
Absolutely.
And if it's books that I don't own or I listened on audiobook, then I can remember by just reading.
Yeah, of course.
How do I keep track on what books I own? Well, I bought them. And I don't think I've ever bought the same book twice.
Not accidentally.
No.
I bought the same book twice in different editions.
Yeah, but that is on purpose.
Yes, that's planned.
Those are different editions.
Yes.
And therefore different books.
Yes. There you go.
Dilemma number 3. Borrow. Do you lend your books out?
Yes. To particular people I do. Well, I kind of like, I don't particularly mind. As I've said in previous videos, there are certain books that I'll just not leave my bookcase. Like my signed edition of The Book Thief. Like, no, you ain't getting that. I have another edition of The Book Thief that you can borrow if you'd like.
Yeah. Well, my brother uses the bookshelf as his personal library.
Yeah.
And to our other friends, no, I don't, because Alex is always a step ahead.
Yeah.
And so I don't. He just, oh, I think you would like this one. Here you go.
Yeah, and it's gone.
Yeah. Well, I actually think that I know where all our books are. So
of course.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah. But yeah, there are some books where I would like, maybe no.
Maybe not that one.
Maybe not that one. Like my signed edition of Laura Lambs. But I know it's safe.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's safe.
I have it.
Yeah. I wouldn't lend it to anyone else.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Yeah. Dilemma number 4. Buying. How do you buy or acquire your books?
I do 50-50 on buying in bookshops and buying online. Kind of. It kind of depends. Like, if I'm buying in a bookshop, I go in and look and just find something that I would like. That's what I like about going into bookshops. Not so much a fan of going like, I'm getting this book and then I'm getting out of here.
No.
Like, that's not the point of it for me. Then I might as well just buy it online. I mostly use Book Depository. Because it's cheap. Yeah. And there's so many editions. Like, I can pick and choose and it's great. I do 50-50 just about.
I probably buy more in bookstore than online, but I'm sort of the same way that if I know that, okay, but now I have collected a few books that I know that I want to buy, then I order them online, because I don't really find the joy in going into the bookstore and just this, and this, and then I'm done.
What's the point?
I like to browse, I like to look, I like to feel.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, so if I know that, okay, but there are 2 books that I want, but I can buy 4, then I wait until I'm in the bookstore and I buy those 2, and then I choose another 2.
Yeah.
Because support local businesses.
Exactly, yeah. And it's also like, for example, like translated Japanese fiction and stuff like that, unless it's like really well known, like Haruki Murakami, it'll be difficult for us to get it in bookstores. Yeah. So
there's some in the sci-fi bookstore, but
absolutely.
like in the general bookstores, no.
No, not in particular.
No. Comments. How do you respond to how do you read so much comment or similar comments?
I had this conversation with a person recently, actually. I just say, well, it's at this point, it's habit. Because people are like, how do you read so much? How do you not watch the TV? It's like, well, don't start the freaking TV if you want to read.
Yeah.
Like, if that's the problem, then sit down with your freaking book and don't start the TV.
Yeah.
It's habitual. How do you read so much? I choose to.
Yeah, it's I enjoy it, so I choose to. Don't really know when I was asked that question the last time, because a lot of the people in my life have been in my life so long that they either know it. But I guess I choose to. Yeah. I enjoy it. It's like any other hobby.
Yeah.
Like, do you ask people who are gamers, how do you
game?
Yeah, how do you play so much games?
Well,
like, I enjoy it, so I do it.
Yeah, it's simple, really. It's a choice.
Yeah. Dilemma number 6. Next book. How do you pick your next book or read?
It kind of depends, but I'm mostly a mood reader, so just pick the one that I feel like reading. I am very seasonal. Like, we're getting into the seasons where I read a lot more fantasy and stuff like that, because it's so atmospheric and nice to read when it's dark outside, for instance. So I prepare for the seasons. So if it's like, okay, I don't want to reread the fantasy that I already have, then I start looking up like, okay, so what fantasy is available and what would I like to read, and then I'll just go and buy that and I'll start reading that instead. But yeah, mood reader, I feel like reading that, and I pick that.
Yeah, I have no system. It's either, okay, I feel like reading this, or I should expand on my reading, and therefore I'm gonna read this.
Yeah.
But now that's not fun anymore, so I'm gonna go back to this.
Yeah.
Mood reader. Like, I feel like reading this, I enjoy this, or I want to expand, and therefore that is what I'm feeling like.
Yeah.
Number 7, travel. How do you pick what books you bring on vacation with you?
It depends on how long you're gonna be away, first of all. So,
And what you're doing.
Yeah.
Are you going on a summer holiday where you're gonna lay on the beach like the entire time? Yes, then I will bring like 10 books for a week.
Because you'll get through them.
Yeah, because that is what I'm gonna do. That is what I like to do with those kinds of a vacation.
Yes.
But if I'm going skiing, well, then I'm gonna be busy the entire days. Like, then I might bring one or two books.
Yeah, it totally depends. And I also, when it's like a summer holiday, and like you said, you're gonna lay on the beach, I don't want too heavy things. Like, that's where I'm like, I don't want epic fantasies. I want the stupid romance books. I love those. I think but that's the only time that I do read stuff like that. It's like in the summer when I can't be bothered.
Number 8, annotate. Do you write or highlight or mark up your books in any way?
Yeah.
No.
Sometimes.
I felt the need to do that with the last Hank Green book. Because I did that on audiobook, and I wished that I had a physical copy, where I could just somehow mark things.
Yeah.
Just for future conversations about the book.
Yeah.
But in general, no.
Yeah. No, I get that urge a lot. Because I figure, like, it's my books.
Yeah.
Like,
it's my books. I want them to look pretty.
It's but like that's perfectly valid.
Yeah.
But I'm like, well, it's my books. I want to find the things that I liked in those books, so that's why I do that.
Yeah.
But I don't do that in all of my books either. But the favorites are the ones that looks the worst, actually.
Dilemma number 9: new or backlist? Which do you prefer, new releases or backlist?
I don't know if I have a preference.
No, me neither.
In
Like,
particular.
I don't care.
No.
Like, the only thing I care if a book is new or not is if I've read everything else about, like, by the author.
Right.
So it's a book by the author that I love, that I now can read.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, that is the only time I care about if it's a new book or not.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have a preference in that.
Dilemma number 10: sequels. Do you read books as they are released, or wait for an entire series to be published before reading the first book?
I don't.
You're gonna pass?
Well, I'm like, I don't really read series. Because I don't keep track of trilogies and series and things, I also often miss them and discover them later.
Yeah.
So most of the time by then, all of it is out, which is very nice. Because I don't mind waiting, like, I'm not impatient in that way, but I forget bloody everything about the story. So I find that really difficult. So like the last couple of times, A Darker Shade of Magic is a perfect example, because I heard about that book early on.
Yeah.
And found out there was gonna be more books and was like, I'm gonna have to wait. By the time that I knew what release date it was for the third one, that's when I started reading the first one.
Yeah, no, I prefer it if as many books as possible are out. And I might wait a little while, like with the Nevernight series. I read the first one.
Oh yeah.
And then the second one came out at about the same time as I read the first one. And then I knew that the third one is like, it was on its way and was gonna be released the next year. And then I just finished the first one and then I just stopped.
Right.
And I waited for the third one and then finished it off.
And
So yeah, I might wait a while and maybe wait for the next book to be released, but I'm not gonna wait 5 years. That was the last one.
okay.
So we're done. We thought this one would be short and easy.
And it wasn't. Well, it was easy.
Yeah, it was easy, but we talked a lot more than we expected.
Because we like to chat.
Yeah. That's why we do this.
Yeah.
To chat about books.
That's exactly why.
I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, do that. We will link the original down below.
Yes.
Because we were not the creators of this
Oh,
time.
no.
So we will link that down below, and until next time, bye.
Bye.